So welcome back. The first I want to introduce you to is actually what's called Flint Dart Extension. Because it's a Flint Dart. You come with like this. By the technology, you can actually download it. Since you have to review, you have to download it. And just press install it. So this way, you're going to see there are a lot of things that have been added to us. What's called Flint M to create a module, Flint C to create a controller, all those things. And also we have what's called a syntax for what we want to learn today. Now after that, if you come back here, you will see that we have you come back here, so we have what's 1.4, we have 1.3 that we need now. Then we can just also ensure that I'm going to pub.dev to ensure that we have that version. Now, anytime you are watching this video, you can use the latest version. Always be using the latest version for your class. So it doesn't matter when you are doing it, no matter you're using the latest version. So let's add this guy here. So we're going to add just ensure that we have the same version. You come back here and enable this. Come to terminal and you paste it there. So now from this time, now we have 12 currently. Now we have upgraded to 13. Now from this time, you can now use what's called, there's a latest update they have added to it that you can use what is called Flint update. So we have what's called Flint update. So you can just say Flint update, not update for you automatically. So from now on, we're going to be using what's called Flint update. We won't be copying the pub global activate that like that. So first thing we want to look at today is actually what is called validation. Now validation, if you notice, we have been using what is called something like this.json to send our code. Let me open my new window, then I'll come here for my Thunder clients. We have been sending our JSON just by JSON, by command to JSON, and that would have been using since and add it to our. But now we want to do what's called validation. We want to validate our request. Now here we need to alert everything and delete them. So as we practice them together. So first thing we need to do is to have what is called a try and catch. Try out to catch. So now what are we catching? We are catching on validation exception. Validation exception. I want to catch what is called the error that we see. The catch E, then we do something with E. And first thing we want to do is that to be able to do a validation, you can actually take your data and keep validating one by one. This string is it, keep the but Flint Dart actually give you a validation object for you to validate your data like that. That's one thing that I've done for us. Now what we need to do now basically is just to call on the validation data that they have sent to us and make use of it. I have a validator like this. They have a dot validate. So what they're going to put your data here, they're going to put your rules here. The type is going to be a map of string and dynamic, and your validation to be a string and string. So let's do that. Now I was confessing our data is var data is equal to reg.json. Then I'm going to have what's called data here. Then what's the rules? The rules is going to be this also. And this data here is showing error because our data is feature.delete. It has to be feature.map. So we need to have what's called await here. And by having await, we have this. So the next thing we need to do, we need to actually put our validation data here. So number one thing we need to do, and if you install the Flint that you have, there's going to be a syntax. I'm going to show you how to do things here. So it's going to be very easy for us. For one thing we need to have what's called name, which is the name. Then the name, now I need to show error before. And what's the error? You always say that when you set a string, it has to be a string and this. This is from the package. Then I have to have our integer like this, our data. So now first I want to ask that, okay, the name is actually required. Say require. So require. So now, then what is the type of the name? The name data type is actually what is called a string. I can say it's int, no error. I can say it's double, and also it is string. Now, if I say string like this, now by saying string, it said there is no unknown validation rules. There's something called like string like this. So if you want to call string, you must call it correctly. And the int is going to show you the error if you have any error. And there's some rules that cannot put together. Now, if you say it's a string, you cannot put say that it's also an email. Now, it's not going to work. My can say the error is different from not available. But this error means that it's tautology. There's only for combining those two together, because if it is email, it's actually a string. So email is going to check all those things that is inside of email without your effort. Just don't worry. Just put email there. So I cannot say that the main, now we say write email like this. You need to put a colon in front of it and say number like this. You cannot put E there. You cannot put Y there. You need to put a number, a value number there. By saying that the minimum value I'm expecting from this name is, now this minimum value is too much. I'm going to say I'm expecting 5. And the maximum value I'm expecting, now I'm going to have on that 5 like this. The maximum value I'm expecting is actually what is called max like this, then dot, let me say it's 20. So your name should not be more than 20. I have command, then I have another thing called email. And if I have email like this, first I'm going to do, I want to say it's require, then I'm going to have what's called pipe, and I have what's called email. Now, if I say email like this, I can't say that it should be string or number. I can't say it should be int. It's not valid. I can't say it should be double. Double. I can't say that. The minimum that I'm expecting, because the minimum, I say the minimum, the maximum. Oh, I can say the maximum. So I say the minimum, this is the minimum, and this is the maximum. You have your main, but you can't say the type, because email is always string. If it validates successfully, if I go to return back response dot, I'm going to say response dot response. And what is this response doing? This response is actually the same thing as send, not like it's the same thing. So send what send what is called a string of data, but response to take a kind of data, dynamic data, and it converts it based on the type of data by itself. So now what I'm saying now is that I'm converting this to this. Now this is how it works. So anytime you have this, you need to put what's called await here. You need it, because what happens is that if you don't put await here, it will have respond back to user before you even come and check the error. You can validate the issue, because you know that it's on a sequence of that. So when you await it, you are then to wait to finish this thing before it comes down. And if there's any error, it's going to throw an exception, because it does not return any value. It's going to an exception, and the exception is validation exception. So what you need to do, you need to catch the exception and respond back to the user by saying res dot, I have what's called response, then I have what's called e dot errors. So now this guy has to return type of response. So we need to return back to this. Return. I'm going to return this. So if I come back here, so what I need to do, I need to choose a Flint 1 or Flint Start, the two work, because otherwise it's live. So let's attempt to run this. So we have this one, we just have the name and the price. So we should have error. Yeah, we have a currency error that we have what's called the feed price is not allowed, because price is not required yet. So this is another thing to note. Anything you don't put here, you are trying to say that you are not expecting them. So nobody can actually send the data that you are not expecting, or try to hack you with another data or another maybe SQL injection. No, that one cannot happen with Flint. That is very secure. Nobody can send the data that you are not expecting. And there's that one that is required, which is name. Name is expected, email is expected. So just change this. Just change this to this price to email. Now if I send it, let's see, if I attempt to send it, yes, can you see that it give us that I don't have that the email is not correct, because it's actually integer. So until you put a valid email, that's not going to allow you that I have add something there and say we have what's called aim at email.com. Yeah, let's see, it's valid. Now, but let's see. Oh, sorry, I had a mistake here. Yeah, because email must have at least 20 characters. Because we put the list here should be 20 characters. But we say that the list should be 10. The minimum should be what? Let's say minimum should be 7 and maximum should be 30. So that's how you can actually give it to it. So nobody can just put maybe test@gmail.com or anything@gmail.com. So at least you have what's called aim as, so you have this. I put 70. I want to put 7. So yeah, it's successful now. Now for us to have this data, that is here, like for you to respond back with data, we actually successfully handle the error. Like what you have sending to us is actually correct. Now, since we have this data that is here, now there are a lot of this you can actually read from here. Read a lot of it here. We have integer, Boolean, example, like email, we have list, we have confirmed, minimum, and maximum. Now that's what we can use. Now, you might think that this guy might actually be a lot of long. So that was called validate. That was called validate on get. So on your request, it's going to call validate. On your request, validate like this. So when you have validate like this, you don't need to type all this from your request. It should have validated before you give it data. So if it is not what it's going to respond back data for you to the and that is what is called validate. Now this validate also did the same thing. Now even if you go to their source code, you are going to see that they also called the same validate that you are calling inside the source code. Let's see, they will not show us. So let me go into it. You can go there. So they also call the validate inside of it. Call the validate inside of it before they return back. The same thing that we're trying to do, that's what they do. but they are actually like that's why I actually like this. So what we need to just do is to just call the the request, then validate. We validate it for us before it give us data. So and also the same thing also worked fine. The same rules, everything worked fine. So I like using this validate for working. I like using the validate. So that's how to validate your code. So you can just practice more. I have more thing and say phone number. I say so require how it is not there's nothing called phone like this. It's not available. There's nothing called phone like this. And it's giving error. So there's nothing called phone. So what is available is that it is int then, and that's our min. And it should be minimum of 10. Now if I try to send it, I see phone is required. Let me type what's called phone. So I need to put comma here. So it's expecting there's unexpected character that I put. Let's see. So it said unexpected character. That's what it said. That's what it said. I don't know why it's saying this unexpected character. So I'm coming. Let me use this an example. Okay. Oh, sorry. Because we use what's called 0 to start. That's why it's saying unexpected character. So if you want to start your phone number, you should not start with 0. So if it is integer does not start with. Now can you see it works fine now? It works fine. And by saying minimum is 11, you're going to see that you don't have less than 10 like this. That was going to give it to us. So now if you want to use this kind of thing, it's better you use string to receive your data and then data convert it. String. So this is going to work perfectly for you if you use string for it. So you want to you can use string for this kind of thing. So and that's now we may need to look at it what's called password. Let's use what's called password. Hold on, so what's called is require. So I need to put comma here. 5. I would say it should be string 5. It should also be what it should be minimum value should be 6. Min should be 6. 6. Then maximum value should be what should be. So you should not give us anything more than 12. So if I come here, the password, then I have what's called, let me just use password as the password. And I said this guy should be string. I put that is. You're going to say if phone must be at least 10. I can say, so I can now put what's called, if I send it now, yeah, I can see it work now. And look at it, it's still validated. Now, what if I want to have what's called a kind of confirm password? So you may be tempted to just say confirm password. No. By just adding what's called a 5 and say confirm like this, confirm like this, confirmed like this. Anybody that wants to send any request to this place must actually add, if you over on this request like this, if you look at confirm here, confirm, where is confirm? Confirm here. A field must have a matching confirmation field, which is confirmed field or field confirmation. So you need to add these two things to it before it can work. If I send like this, you can see I require also what's called confirm password before it can work. So now, if I say confirm password like this, then the point to now I want to be sure if the confirmation also is working password. Now this is small letter and this is capital letter issue. You know, I can see it does not match because this is small letter and this is capital letter. So I shall put that like this. Yeah, and it's confirmed like this now. So now what I'm trying to say now is that if you want to confirm password, you don't need to add confirm here. If you want to confirm it, just put confirm in front of it. It's going to validate it for you. And if you have any validation option that you want to add, you can put it in their issue and they will add it for you. So that's how to validate a Flint Dart. So the next thing we should look at is actually what is called